So it's been about 5 years since the first time I made Three Flowers mead. This is something I learned from Jack Spirko, and I've made it a couple times since the original time, but it's probably been 3 years since the last time I made a Three Flowers mead. This is a little bit different than most of the ciders I've made in the past, and even it's kind of different than some of the meads I've made in the past. I was rewatching my video from 2016 and realized I had recorded it sideways and it wasn't the greatest quality, so I thought I'd redo it again. And I'd also take into account for some of the changes that I have made in the years of making ciders and meads and think about what I was doing. One of the things that I definitely changed is that instead of putting the elderberry, chamomile, or I guess it's elderflower, heather tips, and chamomile, that's my three different flowers that are in it. When I made them the first time, I just put the ingredients straight into the bottle and then poured the hot water over it to let it steep. This time, I went a little bit different. I used one of the socks that I use to capture a lot of my stuff to put all the grains into, or put all the flowers into. This worked, but it didn't work great. So getting it into the small top of this bottle was not as simple as it appeared to be, and I think I lost some of the flour as it kind of fell out of the sock as it was going in. I'm not sure if I will use the sock again if I use this method. If I decide to make it in a larger barrel, like my 2-gallon barrels, I probably will use the sock because it'll be easier to clean up and easier to get out. We'll see how this ends up, whether I end up doing that again. So, as I've done in the past, you end up using a bottle of honey. In this case, I used the Nate's honey, which is very similar to what Jack Spirko uses. As I think this is actually one of the ones he has shown on his video several times. I found it works fairly well, especially since the bottle is just a little under 3 pounds. So it works great for making in a 1-gallon mead. So I used this bottle, put it in hot water, or dumped as much as I could into the 1-gallon container, and then I from there it kept adding hot water until I cleaned out the entire bottle. There was a little bit of honey that was coated to the bottom and the top that it took the hot water to get that loose. So as I've done in the past, this is using a Premier Blanc and a Premier Cuvee, I think is how you say that. These are the two yeasts that Jack Spirko found worked best for his. And it used to be a premium or Pasteur or Blanc, and is now Premium Blanc, I believe. And this this is one of my premium. I do still have a couple Pasteur Blancs, and I have some of the Pasteur Champagne, which are similar but not quite the same. So here's the interesting part. So it's been about 3 hours since I started this. At that time, I put, and that is actually when I put the Three Flowers in and started steeping it in the hot water. After about 30 minutes is when I put the honey in, and then it is set down here, and I just put yeast in it maybe 10-15 minutes ago, and it is already bubbling. I know it is quick going, but I did not expect it to start that quickly, but it probably it can. And one of the things that I've changed in the past 5 years, and something that I've only started doing in probably the past 6 months, is that I now have a plant heating pad that I keep underneath the stuff that I'm working on. And I started doing this when I was doing kombucha because it kept things a little bit warmer down here. And let's see if I can get it to show up on here. As you can see, the temperature in here right now is 57 degrees. This means that it's not very warm in here, but I found with the heating pad, even in the middle of the winter, I am able to continue brewing, and it seems to do fairly well. So as I start getting other ones going on here, they'll be on the map too, but I thought I would definitely show off what I have done. The one thing I did not include that I'm showing here is that I use my standard ferment K, I think that is. It's one of my yeast nutrients that I start out with, and that usually ends up working fairly well of getting everything going. I just didn't expect it that within 15 minutes of putting the top on, it would be bubbling away. I guess we'll see if it follows Jack's normal way of that within 30 to 45 days it will be fermented out and ready to go. So we'll see how it comes out. It's been a few years since I made it, and we'll see if it works as well. I am out of the elderflower now, so I will have to get more of that before I can make any more of this, but at least it seems to work fairly well. The steeping got there's definitely a nice dark liquid in there, and now with the honey in there, it is really dark, and we'll see how that comes out and somewhere in the next month. Hopefully every weekend now I will be able to get working on this and keep all my meads and ciders going this year. All right.